Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to go over a recap of Zion Oil and Gas, ticker symbol ZNOG's annual shareholder meeting. We're going to try to knock it out in about 10 to 15 minutes tops. It lasted about an hour and a half or so. Apologies for not getting it to you sooner. I watched about half of it live, had to hop on another call, and just actually finished watching the other half of it. So this video is basically, if you've never been through one of these before, is just to kind of give you a recap. If you do want to watch the whole thing start to finish, get every single detail, every single thing that was said or asked or whatever, link in the description below. And just make sure that you have about an hour and a half blocked off to watch the video. And you could even fast forward about 30 minutes into it once they get through kind of all the boring mumbo jumbo they have to go through as far as saying what was approved, disapproved, forward-looking statements, and all that type of stuff there. So ZNOG actually nice recovery from that big dump that we had at the during the annual shareholder meeting. We got down as low as 14 cents, so I think we're down like 30% or something at one point. And so anyway, so now back to about 19. So we're still starting lower than we were to start the day. And we'll dissect the charts a little bit more in detail after we kind of go through the recap of things here, and then we'll just kind of go from there. All right, so before we get into these slides here, I took some screenshots of 3 or 4 of the slides that they were going over when they got to like the operational update and all that type of stuff. But to kind of recap, basically what they did is, they started off obviously in prayer and introduced John Brown. He got up there and prayed, and then they gave everyone a chance to cast their vote. Those who did not cast their vote yet, they went ahead and gave them the opportunity to do that. All of the proposals were passed. Okay, so the issuance of more common stock passed. The issuance of putting the people on re-elected to the board passed. Their accounting people or whatever, the ratification of the accounting firm or whatever, that's every year type thing passed. Switching over their paperwork from Delaware to Texas to be a Texas-based company, basically, passed. And so everything that they were trying to get passed, and that's typical. You typically don't see anything that was not passed. The common stock, the issuance of more common stock, was passed by 58%. Okay, so 58% voted to issue more common stock. I was not one of the 58%. I did not agree with that, but then again, it didn't matter because majority rules. After all that, they brought up, I think it's Monty Ness that came up and gave some operational updates. Sounded completely disappointing and unengaged, and honestly, he was the guy who really kickstarted the crash, the mini crash on the stock, and started making it fall, because the guy was like, again, just no enthusiasm. He sounded completely just like disappointed, and said the word unfortunately while he was explaining a bunch of the operational things about like 3 to 5 times, I think it was, in a span of 30 seconds. I'm like, will you please shut up? Act like you want to be there. I was like, come on. So we're going to go through these slides, and then we'll kind of go through some other things. Before this guy actually came up, they actually went over some other scans and just kind of showed like, hey, this is where we're drilling, or this is where the MJ01 is. This is where our point of interest is. And the really positive thing that they said was they found significant amount of hydrocarbons during drilling and testing. Okay, so boom. Okay, very, very good sign there. A lot of hydrocarbons in testing and drilling, as well as gas. They had found gas every single day that they were out there, and then the hydrocarbons actually flowed up I think through the well bore like 3 days in a row without deterrence, and then eventually, which they anticipated that it was going to have some issues continuing, they'll have to do some stuff about that. But anyway, very positive that they said that. Okay, so that's a good thing. So operations since June 5th, 2024. They opened the MJ01 well after 7 years. They tagged the bottom. During the final cleaning and scraping run before the casing, sleeves, and stimulation, the mill got stuck. Initially, the mill was stuck on existing perforations. Eventually, they lost circulation, which indicated there was closure around the drill pipe. So something kind of got like tangled around there. Multiple overpulls and a back off operation freed 4,300 meters of the stuck BHA, but left 730 meters of drill pipe, collars, and mill down hole. They went back down to tag the remaining fish and encountered collapsed shale. Attempted to drill and flush out the shale to reach the top were unsuccessful. Fish could not be tagged again. This is all stuff that we already know, right? We're just kind of refreshing everyone's brain. Subsequent study proved that we experienced elastic and partial casing collapse followed by shale penetration. Casing integrity degraded over time, was further weakened by previous acid work during the well testing phase in 2017. So the 2025 operations to date, January 1st through February 14th, procured all equipment and material for the re-entry operation. They obtained visas for all necessary personnel. February 15th through March 9th, they repaired maintenance on the rig, opened the well, cleaned the bottom. March 10th through the 31st, they mobilized stimulation and testing equipment. April 1st, the rig crew mobilized into the country. April 2nd through the 23rd, they closed off the 4.5-inch section of well by setting a permanent plug at 3,225 meters, cleaned the hole, close off open perforations and swell plugs, wait for TCP to arrive. 23rd of April, perforated the target zone. April 27th, stimulated the zone. April 28th through May 4th, flow back, shut in, wait for coil tubing. May 20th through the present, flow back with coil tubing, well testing. Okay, so that is up until that point. He went on to say, and this is a bag of gas they encountered, I guess. So the stimulation successfully placed proppant and extend the connectivity of the reservoir, avoided screening out in very tight formation. Excellent, extensive, both horizontally and vertically, gas observed at surface during day 1 of flowback and continued to be observed daily. Coil tubing allowed all of the stimulation fluid to be recovered. Formation fluid to the surface. Assay analysis being performed. Well bore and casing integrity withstood the operation, which is good. Operationally, all objectives were achieved, so that's good. The challenges, the stimulation wings made contact with the saltwater zone, which was not representative of the detailed log interpretation. The density of the formation water is 9.6 to 9.7, and which is called slugs that impede steady flow of gas to the surface. So it's a lot of pressure and weight basically from the salt water that's preventing the steady flow of gas to the surface. So it's kind of, again, the same thing of, hey, we found it, now how do we get it? How do we get it flowing out? Which is kind of the name of the game, right? And so in a nutshell, they achieved all their operational goals of what they wanted to go and do. However, they've still got a long way to go, okay, in order to get this fully functional and getting everything flowing out. So you still don't know if it's a commercially viable well, and you might not know for months. Okay, so that's kind of it in a nutshell as far as what they updated us on. We're going to talk about the Q&A. They had a couple of good questions that were asked that I want to touch on, and then we're going to look at the charts and check it out. This is about 2:30 in the afternoon, so hopefully by the time I get to the Q&A, it'll be closer to the close, and we can watch how the stock closed for the day. All right, so here are some of the questions that were asked, and I pulled just a few of them. And again, you can go back and watch the entire video, and you can get every single question, every single answer, and all that. And these won't be exact. I was just kind of typing and taking notes as the meeting was going along. But it says, how far away from the current site is the next drill site, and when will that begin? Basically, he said it's pretty close. Then they can actually use the same drill pad, and they wouldn't have to use or move the rig over very much, which is kind of nice. So forgot the exact distance, but it wouldn't be a big deal from moving from point A to point B if indeed they get to that point. What happens if it's not commercially viable? And how long will you be prepared to keep searching? And of course, they didn't have really a solid answer on that. It's just kind of like, we're going to do it basically as long as someone pays us to do it. It is what I got out of it. You guys keep on pumping money into the company, and we're going to keep on drilling and searching. I mean, these guys have probably the best job on the planet, as opposed to, I think the only thing second to them is like the weatherman, because you don't ever have to be right to have a job, and these guys don't either. So anyway, so they're continue to keep on going, as long as it takes, apparently. But they did say that they felt really good, and they were very close to getting what they want, and seemed pretty optimistic for the most part. And he said that you have to be right basically one time in this game, and the exploration part of things is the exciting point. A lot of the other companies you think of that are producing and everything, they'll the bigger companies, they'll buy out smaller exploration companies, and so they're in the thick of it here. They're trying to make things happen. So in my brain, that's basically what he's saying is we get this going, potential buyout from a bigger company. So we'll go just kind of take that as it will. Is the lower portion of the MJ01 repairable, and is there a plan to repair it? And it didn't seem like they really, and I think what they were talking about maybe is the bottom part that got kind of caught up or whatever in the bottom, and I don't think that they had any indication of them looking to go repair it. I guess they had no need to do that. They basically, what happened is there was 3 of the 4 zones, there was 3 of them that they couldn't really fully, I guess, test. The most recent one showed some good signs of hydrocarbons and gas. When will testing be done? And basically all the stuff that's happened, they don't know. He just basically said it can be additional months and months and months. And so it's kind of one of those things, hurry up and wait type deal. And someone else had asked about potential customers if we are indeed commercially viable. And they said, well, the good thing about it is they have everybody in Israel basically is going to be a customer. They have a big refinery in Israel, but they're kind of in the perfect spot that if they can make this happen, I think good things will come from it. So anyway, that's kind of it in a nutshell, guys. Like I said, if you want to know more and really detailed stuff as far as what was, like, every single thing that was said, you can go watch the video linked in the description below. Let's take a look at the charts and let's see what they're telling us. Alright guys, taking a look at the charts here, and this was right about the time where that guy kept saying unfortunately, 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 and the price just kept coming down. And of course, big overreaction, because the meeting was actually fairly positive. I thought that it was one of the more positive ones that we've seen. Although I'm sounding very pessimistic and negative, I think the meeting was positive. So we fell as low as about 13 cents, and we've since made a pretty decent recovery, pretty much almost back to where we opened. We're at about 19 cents. We still need to get above 21 and a half to actually make it, make this golden cross indicator legit. As you see here, we're kind of fighting to see which direction we're going to go. Typically, this arrow here is pointing, saying, hey, we broke, golden cross broke out, we're about to go up. But this is just pointing down, saying, hey, guess what, I'm fighting just as hard to keep you down as you are to push me up. So we need to get about 21 and a half in order for that confirmation to happen. On the hourly chart, we are still trying to make our way back up here. We're cooling down as far as from a selling standpoint. We're about to cross back over from bearish to bullish, which would be nice, because maybe that'll get us over the top and get to closer back to that 21 and a half cent mark, and we'll just kind of go from there. So anyway guys, that's all I got for you in this one. I appreciate you guys chiming in and tuning in. Let me know your comments below. Other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.